All right, welcome everybody. So my name is Anthony Carls, and today we are talking about our grading sheet for website usability and conversions for our four family law firms. So when we do our audits, we look at a bunch of stuff. We've got a whole series on citations. We got a conversation that we posted about reviews. Another one of those things that we do is grading our websites from a usability and conversion perspective. So there are four main elements to this audit. There's a guide on our website. So if you search for Rocket Click's website grading guide for family laws, for family lawyers or family law firms, you'll find this page on our site. It talks a little bit about this. So there are four parts here. One is how fast is your site. If your site is slow, people will bounce. They have a big immediate issue. If they're waiting on their mobile phone for several seconds, waiting for this thing to load, they're leaving and they're going to go to the next firm. So load speed is really important. We'll talk about that a little bit and the tool we use there. Second one, content relevance. So are we actually addressing the things that they need to be addressed when they come to our site? So there's a lot of, especially in the family law space, there's a lot of research that's done. Petitioners typically, based on our research, they're gonna start their research process about 3 years, 2.5 years to 3 years out from the point in which they're going to call you. Before they're going to pick up the phone and call you, they're going to be doing research for about 2.5 to 3 years. So content relevance is really important. Make sure we're giving them a lot of good information on that so they can make a good decision. Number 3, mobile usability. So how mobile accessible is your site? It's 2024 when I'm recording this. It's like 78%, 80% of all users that are visiting family law firm sites, they're on a mobile phone. If your site isn't mobile accessible and mobile friendly, holy smokes, are you missing out? So that's a big one. And number 4, how is our conversion paths and call to actions? So this one's really important. This one's also done pretty poorly sometimes. We're not really using the primary conversion pathways. So do we have a really clear CTA in our header? Do we got a global footer that is a easily accessible call to action to move forward? How's our color scheme? Do we have like all these random colors, or is it really clear? Like, here's our call to action color, here's our secondary call to action color, and here's the rest of the site. It should be very obvious what's what. And like when you go scan a site, it should be super clear what is the thing that I should do next. If it isn't clear, guess what? Your users aren't clear on what to do to move forward. So first one. So we're gonna for this audit, we're gonna use a tool called Lighthouse. And we're gonna look at a lot of different things. Overall, what we're looking for website load times is achieving a Lighthouse performance score of 90 or above. So what we want to see is a seamless user experience. If we're 90 or above, we're going to give you an A. If we're between 80 and 89, we're going to give you a B. If you're between 70 and 79, we're going to give you a C. Anything lower than 70, you're going to get a D. And there's a lot of high risk. There's a lot of high risk for you and your site on people bouncing, going back to Google, giving you a negative interaction, negative user experience. So they're going to go back, they're going to research for the same type of thing. They're going to click on the firm that's right below you. And if they do a good job, they're going to take your spot. That's what's going to happen because they're going to have better user metrics than you. So site load time is extraordinarily important. We want to work with you on that. This is why we're a full service firm, because we know that some of the things to get our sites to rank better and to make improvements for our firm, it's not just SEO, it's not just paid. It may not just be web development. It might be conversion pathing. It might be like really talking to you about how's your intake process? How's that working? Because all of these user metrics make a big difference. Number 2, so do we have comprehensive content detailing our services? So what are our core services? And what are the subcategories of those services so that we have very robust and information-rich content so that the users that are at all parts of the funnel, whether they're way up in the funnel or they're right before they're ready to call, we are servicing their needs, because this is a really long research process. If we have adequate coverage of that, but it lacks depth in areas, we're going to give you a B, because it's going to require minor enhancements in some content building. If basic services aren't really clear and there's not a lot of detail here, we're going to give you a C. And if we have like a really small site with only a couple pages, we're probably going to fail you on this one because we don't have good content on our site. Number 3, mobile usability. Again, we're using Lighthouse to do this. And we're looking at our mobile usability scores. 90 and above is going to get you an A. 80 to 89 is going to get you a B. 70 to 79 is going to get you a C. And anything below 70 again, that's a D. You have a lot of opportunity to improve. And we got to make sure that the users that are coming, because it's, like I said, 70 to 80%, 78 to 80% of your users are coming on a mobile device. And it needs to be mobile friendly. It needs to be very intuitive, easy to move forward, all of that stuff. Mobile usability is extraordinarily important. And then calls to action. So this one, if you're not trained in this, might be a little more difficult for you to do this on your own because there's not really a tool for it. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at a couple things. So one is, do we have a call to action in the header? Is it easy for me to call you from the header? And that's both on mobile and on desktop. Secondly, is there a global conversion pathway in the footer? What a lot of users do when they go to a web page, watch what you do next time you do. You're going to scroll pretty fast and then you're going to scroll back up. It's what users do all the time. So what we want to make sure we have is at the very top in our header, we have an easy way to move forward. At the bottom of the page pathway, we have an easy way to move forward. And then we have call to actions that are relevant in between. We want to make sure that our call to action colors are specific and intentional. You probably wouldn't be surprised, or maybe you would be surprised to find out that this is not used very well. So if you're trying to drive a user to a consult or to like through a web form or a phone number, if that's your primary CTA, that should have its own distinct color that isn't used for anything else. And it should be the most bold and most obvious. Really good opportunity for secondary calls to action is to invert the colors. So if you have a red button with white numbers, fantastic. That's your call to action. Your secondary call to action, a really good option, would be to invert it. Make the outline red, make the numbers red, make the background white. It's going to be slightly less eye-catching. And what you're going to do is you're going to create a distinction between, like, these are the ones that are really important. This big one in the header, this call to action in the footer, and then all these secondary ones, they should look secondary. So we want to look for that. So an A, we got header, we got footer covered, and we have good use of primary and secondary actions with the appropriate color schemes. B is going to be, you have CTAs, but maybe they're not optimized. Maybe you don't have a sticky header. Maybe there's not a global footer, but it's on a lot of pages, or maybe your color distinctions aren't very good. And that could be dramatically improved. Maybe you're overusing the call to action button all over the place. So everything's important. That's basically what you're saying. So I want to improve that. C, we're missing CTAs. Our color schemes aren't clear, potentially confusing, and hindering that pathway forward. D, this is, we don't see this often, but sometimes we do. Basically, no calls to action. Maybe you just have a contact link on the top of your website, and it goes to a contact page that has a lot of opportunity for improvement. So that's going to get you a D. So what we want to see in this is we're going to go through all four of these options. Again, this is something that you can do. We got a web page on it. So if you want to do it yourself, go look up Rocket Click's website grading guide for family law firms and just score your site. Use Lighthouse as a tool. You'll have to do a little bit of research to make sure content relevance is good. AI is a really good opportunity for that. And then calls to action. Again, this is a little more nuanced, so there's some training involved. If you need our help, happy to help you. This is something that we do really well for our clients. We help them grow their businesses by doing these things right and driving conversions after we drive traffic. Have a great rest of the day.